Welcome to Let's Talk Sports. I'm Cole,
I'm Joe.
and this is episode 2 of our podcast. First episode, we had a lot, jam-packed, and we do have a good bit of stuff, but we're probably going to slim it down some, try to keep us on a good timer, and we're just going to roll straight into our reaction to Thursday night football game between the Tennessee Titans and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and kind of compare with what our predictions were. So, Tennessee Steelers game, Tennessee won 16, or Pittsburgh won 20-16, and our prediction, if I remember correctly, Joe, we both picked Tennessee to win, but the score prediction we both had, mine was less than this, but yours equaled exactly.
Like 10 points, I believe.
I was saying, I think you had 23-13, so it was 36. So if you would have just guessed the score total, you'd been spot on.
Or guess close to the opposite team.
Yeah. But we can kind of talk about the performance of Will Levis. It definitely wasn't up to par of what it was his first start. Steelers actually did a good job even without Minkah Fitzpatrick in the secondary. And Derrick Henry ran the ball pretty well, and then so did Najee Harris.
He did.
I know Jaylen Warren did good for the Steelers as well, even though that's the pass-catching running back. But, I mean, what highlights did you see, and what did you get from it?
I mean, it was a well-fought game. I'm trying to remember this dude's name, but I know it's a receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I think he caught his first touchdown pass. I want to say 2 seasons, I believe.
Are you talking about Deontay Johnson?
It could be Deontay Johnson.
Has it been 2 seasons since
They made a big deal about it during
I'll
the
say
game.
maybe it was, I think, something along the lines of like midway through last year, because I think he had 6 or 7 touchdowns last year. But this is his first touchdown of the season, I think. Could be wrong. I'm not going to look up everything on it. But, I mean, you see Kenny Pickett just did just enough. Jaylen Warren actually ran better than Najee. But here's the biggest thing for me. George Pickens had 2 catches for -1 yards, targeted 5 times. And that's supposed to be wide receiver 1.
But he was drawing a lot of covers, though, during the game, which is what opened up availability for other receivers, which is always
True.
What you need.
And then I know that Pat Fryermuth, the tight end, he's been out. I think he's out for maybe not the rest of the year, but I know he's on injury reserve. So Georgia's own Darnell Washington was the main tight end. And then Connor Hayward, which is obviously Cam Hayward's brother.
Yeah.
On Tennessee's side, DeAndre Hopkins, 4 catches, 60 yards, no touchdown, but he did not do what he did last week, but that's also helped with Will Levis. And then, how about Kyle Phillips leading the team in receiving yards? Did you know who Kyle Phillips was before this week?
Not.
So, this is my favorite name in all of NFL.
I just call him CO.
His last name's easy to say. It's Okonkwo, but he's he's basically like Darnell Washington size. He's a problem. So much for my prediction on this one. My bold prediction. He only had 1 catch.
Yeah.
So, oh well, it happens. That's pass defended. I was about to say. I know Will Levis threw an interception, but we're gonna highlight some of the games for NFL going into Sunday and Monday. We'll do like quick picks of who we think's gonna win, and then we'll go in detail on some. So we'll start in detail on this first game. Miami. It says at Kansas City. They're in Germany. That is why it's at 9:30 in the morning. Let's make our picks first. No bias.
No. I think.
And I know you've seen Tyreek's. You've seen his press conference interview.
So. I might give this one to the Chiefs, man.
You gonna give it to the Chiefs?
I do. I think them coming off this pretty big loss coming from Denver, I think it's gonna put a little something into their step on the field. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs on this one.
Okay. I'm gonna go against you, and I'm gonna say Tyreek holds his own and keeps his mouth, puts his money where his mouth is.
Yeah.
And the Dolphins are gonna get the win. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes is Yeah, I mean, they not as an excuse, but he was sick in the game, so he tried to pull like a Jordan flu game. That obviously did not happen. Uh, but he already sounds stuffy anyways when he talks, and so like hearing him in his press conference interview, it was like really crazy. And then obviously, this will probably be a game that Taylor won't go to since that matters in Travis Kelce's stats, allegedly, because that's all ESPN can talk about. But if that's the case, then Kelce won't do as good. So I'm going to go with Miami. But I do know that the Chiefs' defense has been on a roll. I know they gave up 24 to Denver. Dolphins are really good, but they have to get a run game. That's the main thing for them if they're going to win the game. Let's go quick picks for these bottom four right here. Vikings, Falcons.
Vikings.
I'm going to go Vikings as well. Seahawks, Ravens.
I'm going to go Ravens.
I'm going to go Seahawks. Cardinals, Browns.
We'll go with the upset here, man.
No Josh Dobbs. It's Carson Tune, if I remember correctly. I know we both picked the Vikings. I don't think Josh Dobbs is actually starting for them. It's some rookie, like Jaron Hall, something like that, I think's his name.
I'm going to go with the upset on this one. It's a far stretch, but...
You're going to go with the Cardinals?
Yeah.
I got to take the Browns. Rams, Packers.
Rams.
Are you going to pick against the Packers every week?
Not biased.
I'm going to pick the Rams. Let's do quick picks for these top two right here. Bucks, Texans.
Bucks, Texans. We'll go with Texans.
I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. Commanders, Patriots.
That's a tough one.
I just
I'm
don't.
going to go with the Patriots, man. I feel like their momentum right now is catching.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to also go with the Pats. I know that the Commanders had a huge defensive line. I mean, they still have Deron Payne from Bama and
They do, but you got that. They
what's
lost
his?
both of their pass
Yeah, that's what I'm
rushers.
saying. I'm trying to remember Jonathan Allen from Alabama. So they still have two, but then they have they lose Monte Sweat and Chase Young.
So.
They have some young guys that are good. They're not the caliber of the two of them yet, but I'm still gonna go with the Patriots though. All right, let's talk in detail this Bears Saints game. Agent B starting.
He is confirmed starting, but
Justin Fields is healthy though.
He practiced yesterday. He made his first appearance. A report came out that his throwing is still a little. His grip issues are still a little, consistent right now. But he's not really a quarterback. He's more of a running back. So I don't understand what the issue is with the throwing part. But
All right, quick picks for the next two. Oh wait, we didn't say who we were gonna pick. Bears Saints.
bear down, baby.
I
gotta go with my Bears, man.
So to say, don't
It's
let your dad ever see our podcast if you ever pick
It's a
against
far
them.
stretch, man, but bear
I've
down.
got to go with the Saints. I'm sorry. Quick picks for the next two. Colts Panthers.
I want to see the Panthers win, man. If it was a big win,
Yeah, get their first win
get
last
their first
week
win
against the Texans.
Houston, but I'm gonna go with the Colts on this one.
I'm gonna go with Carolina on the upset.
Okay.
Giants Raiders.
I'm gonna go with Raiders with this one.
I'm gonna go with the Giants.
So you're going a little bit upsets.
I mean, you had upsets at the top games. I've had more on these just back-to-back ones, but we got to talk detail these next two games. Cowboys at Philly.
I think Philly, man.
You think Philly? I saw a report, someone talking about, Philly's got a 7-1 record, but they're still not even a top 5 team in the league, and I
don't see how people can say that.
and that's what I don't understand. They said they're not dominating people like they were last year, but the competition, I feel like there was a larger gap from the top teams to the bottom teams last year than this year. I want to pick Philly. I have a weird feeling that the Cowboys might actually win this. I don't know what it is. I'm going to have to go Cowboys.
Okay.
Bills Bengals.
I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
I'll say I'm rolling with the Bengals too.
I
Burrow and Chase have finally picked it back up. Mixon's actually getting a little bit more in the run game. I don't know what it is. I mean, something's been off. I told you at the beginning of the season that something about Josh Allen, and I mean it showed in the first game. And I know it was against the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, but he got hurt. But other than the Miami game that they played, he hasn't really looked like himself. So I don't know. I'm going with Cincinnati like you. And then Monday Night Football, we got Chargers at the Jets.
I'm actually gonna go with the Chargers on this one, man. I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
Yeah,
I know we got our boy Michael Carter,
Yeah,
with the Jets.
I'll
but,
say one of our high school
I mean,
teammates.
with the performance that I had to endure last Sunday night, I think the Chargers are coming to prove a point now. Don't look at what our record to what our team is. I mean, they are a.
Oh, they're in it.
I mean, they're
After
they're a
what
really
Denver
good team.
did, that shows that their division's tough. I mean, Raiders are the worst team in that division. God, I want to pick the Jets. I can't show bias though, even though it's for Michael. Their defense is still anyway so good.
They are. It's gonna be a tough game for her.
Eckler's a problem, no matter who plays him.
And that tight end that they have, what's his name?
The Chargers. Which one? There's
Is it
Parham. Parham is one of them, and I can't remember
6'8"?
the other one. Yes, that's Parham.
That dude is huge.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
Got the Chargers.
Yeah.
Would you consider this as an upset if the Chargers win?
I would say no. Record says yes, but I would say no. I guarantee. I don't know what the line's going to show. Let's see if it shows it at all. I don't know. NFL's website's not going to be like ESPN. I mean, look, there's the main stat. You want to see with the Jets. They have the worst offense. Now, I'll be honest. I know Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know if this number is even in the top 10. Like, would it be better? Yeah. I mean, they're obviously going to be better overall. The running game's going to be better. I'd probably say they'd probably like the 12th best offense if he was in, but that's still a shocker to me. Like, I would think that this is like 3 or 4. 49ers are off this week, if you noticed.
Yeah.
They need it. 3-game losing streak.
There's a couple of good teams that are off this week. 49ers, Jacksonville, Detroit.
We got a lot of stats that are showing down here. I'll keep up with that later. They're not gonna have it on ESPN, but I'm gonna just the spread's gonna have the Chargers picked as favorites. Time to move forward into the next segment. We got some crazy news. Don't know if we want to call it a debate, but we're not really debating this one. I think the last one we kind of agreed a little bit. It wasn't full unison, but this one is definitely some crazy news. I know Joe's got some crazy news about something we witnessed today, and then I got some crazy news too, and it kind of follows suit. So, topic is about officials and referees, but we're going to keep it at a youth basis for this one instead of climbing up to the pros or college. So,
I mean, just how the stuff that's happened in the pros and college has now trickled down to the youth.
True.
You want me to go ahead and start?
Yeah, go on ahead and tell them the story.
Well, so my cousin, he is 6 years old, and they had their first playoff game today at Hillgrove. It was a very good game, a lot of back and forth. But towards the end of the first half, some calls were being made. You can't catch every penalty. If you did, there would be a penalty on every play. But you could tell when something's starting to go a little one-sided and favoring the home team. Whenever the home coach points at, whatever the play may be, a holding, false start, offsides, whatever the penalty may be, and then the ref throws the flag after the play has already been done. To me, that's just kind of far stretch. I mean, if you see the penalty being developed, during the play, go ahead, blow your whistle. They're 6 years old. These ain't grown men playing, right? So the half came in, and long story short, it was extremely one-sided that second half, to a point where I was in shock. The coach was, he was in the middle of the field, lined up with the linebackers, because in the youth program, the coaches are still on the field. You got 2 on defense, 2 on offense. They line up the players. They're still young. A coach should not be allowed to be in the middle of the play when the play is snapped. Or, the chain crew of the opposite team being allowed to come on the field. Officiating needs to take control of that. That's pretty much all I have with that.
I'll say, yeah, and I know I was there for the first half, and like right there, like you said, at the end of the first half, I don't know if it was the coach of the opposing team trying to like claim that there was like a late hit?
So our coaching staff had claimed there was a late hit because our player was out of balance 10 yards ahead of the play
Mm-hmm.
and got laid out on the sideline. So he was like, that should be called. And he's running down the sideline. Those are his players. On that field, those are his kids.
Yeah.
And the other coach, got in his face of the opposing team saying, that was, this is football. You need to let them play. We understand that.
They're 6 years old.
They're 6 years old. And what are you doing interfering with? Why are you running to my sideline now?
Just because you get to be on the field.
Just because you're on the field, why do you get to run to my sideline, But it's just, it was a lot of one-sided in that game. I'm normally not a type to say a lot of that, but when it's extremely noticeable, it's there.
I would say, I know, like what you were saying, like the out of bounds, like in the youth games, that the sidelines actually numbers to numbers instead of the actual out of bounds. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, he was already ran out of bounds at that area and basically was in the true out of bounds area by the time he was.
He got hit, yeah.
So,
and two, nowhere near the play. Like I said, he was at least 5 to 10 yards down the field. So, I mean, there was no action with that player in the play. There was no need for him to be.
And then, like, the very last play at the half, I know that it looked like there was going to be a scoring play for your cousin's team. And they had a kid, like, went down. And, I mean, he didn't intentionally do it unless the coach told him to. But they're 6 years old, so they don't really know what to say. Not the clock part. I mean, that was the one thing about being away. But he, like, slammed the kid. Like, the kid, like, had him. And then they blew the whistle, play was dead. And then the kid still, like, pulled like a whole suplex move, because it was the number 19, the bigger kid, and so the sideline, the stands was going crazy. They're like, but that's not a late hit, that's not a flag, because I mean it was still completely in bounds, or not out in bounds. It was on their actual sideline that they were in, because their kids had to move out of the way. So I went there for the second half, and I know you said that chain crew got in the way, and I know that like before I left, like. They had 2 of their coaches that were like in the face of the other coaches. The opposing coaches were in the face of his cousin's team's coaches, and the officials were like just lackadaisical. They didn't assert themselves to diminish the situation at all, and so you let it get out of hand right there, and then that's what you get. Whatever happened in the second half, I wasn't there, and you caused problems, and that's also then. Let's be for real. That coach, you're coaching 6-year-olds. You can claim that you're trying to protect the kids. That's why his cousin's team, the coach got mad because of how late it was. But then you get mad because he's saying that your kid hit it late. I mean, he did. He's 6. Sometimes they don't know it. They don't know any better. It happens. They're having fun. But then you act out like that as a 6-year-old football coach. Like, I know you're supposed to fight for your kids. I'm like, if there's a call, but like the behavior was uncanny. And then the other coach started getting involved, and then he was like, "Oh, let the officials handle it." It was like, well, you're the one that was already like in the official and the other coach's face.
It started from the pro level. The officiating in the pro level in the past few years, I'll probably say maybe 3 to 4 years, has been very up and down. A lot more teams, tend to suffer more. Like your Kansas Cities, your Philly, and teams of that nature. Used to be Green Bay when Rodgers was there. They tend to get a lot of the calls, right? So.
I'll say you and I have different opinion on that. That would be a real debate that we'll save for later. Because I will be honest, if I'm going to pick the officiating crew that I want out of youth, high school, college, and NFL, I'm taking pro. That's the best officiating, because you don't watch a lot of college, and I do. It's worse. And then I know how high school is. It's worse. And then you see youth, and then it's just because it's just like teaching. There's not a lot of people that do it, and they don't have thick enough skin. And so I guess let me go into the story that I have today. I went to my cousin's softball games. She had a triple header, and so they played a back-to-back game. I didn't see game 1, but I was there for game 2. And in game 1, my dad and my grandfather were there, and my dad's a big football coach, and my granddad, he's big into all kinds of sports, huge basketball guy, but he loves baseball, softball, football, and he will tell you like it is. He doesn't care. And There were, it's the same thing with football. Just be consistent. If you're going to be wrong, be consistently wrong, because if you fix it for the other team, it's not good. It doesn't mean purposely call something bad, but you've got to fix it now if you're going to do it. But you can't consistently. So in softball, in this case, apparently in game 1, the pitcher for my cousin's team was pitching the ball and pretty well strike zone apparently, and they were calling it ball. Um, okay, that tends to happen. Then they like flip they go down to the bottom of one of the innings, and so they're up to bat, and then their pitcher is throwing like wild pitches, and they're being called strikes, and the girls are getting struck out, and they're standing there like shocked because they're not going to swing at it, and then they flip over back again to the top, and the pitcher does the same type of pitch, gets called ball, and somebody yelled strike every single time he called ball on the same pitch that was called strike, and then the ump behind the home plate, like through the fence, like pointed at him and said, "I'll get you kicked out." To a like it was a public. I mean, I think it's like five fields. So that's what I was told about game 1. Game 2, different crew, different field. I mean, it's the same company that's running it, the tournament, and they have to hire officiating crew, so they're all consistent in that group. And my cousin's team lost 1-2. 2 runs were taken from them where 2 different times a girl slid into third, tagged the base. Like if it was recorded, you could slow mo it, like just like they do in baseball for reviews. Slid in, tagged the base. Third baseman is coming down, like not even making contact by the time she's she's hit the base, and they call her out. Both times. There was only one time that was an obvious one. They tried to steal it home. It was a bad call on the coach. It happens because their left outfielder was very, very good. She was like in the middle of the outfield, yeah, and she threw it straight to home before she got from third base to home.
Pretty good at that age.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah, they were, well, my cousin's 12, but she plays at the 14-year-old level.
Still, I mean, that's
Yeah. She was every time, and then all the hits that they had, base hits, ended up going to her, and so anytime they couldn't advance a runner
yeah.
because of it, because anytime they hit it over in left field, like she made like 3 different plays from that. Because that's how she threw to third base, but the girls were safe. But it started with he called the ump that was behind second base called an illegal pitch on the pitcher, saying that she came off the box, too far off the box in the pitch. And I mean, maybe it was, but everyone that's going to be on that team.
Do they count on box in softball? Like a balk?
Yeah, they've got the little tiny plate there, and they're behind it, and they step on it, and they're allowed to momentum off of it, but there's still like a ring. They have like a small ring, and they like called an illegal pitch, and it was a strikeout too, and then that turned into them getting girls on base, but they never got any runs from it. But that umpire got in his feelings because he made that call, and of course moms and dads weren't happy about it, and he didn't have tough skin about it, and he decided to sulk, and then he was the one that made the 2 out calls when they slid in safe. And then he proceeded, and then he threw out the head coach because the head coach went to argue about the call. He said, you already did this once, you've done it again. And I hear, you're out. I mean, he literally throws him out and everything. It was ridiculous. So I mean, if you're gonna, I know it's already hard to come by to get people to do that job, but you gotta have thick skin, man. I'm sorry. Like, I think that officials for football are getting too soft, like you're saying, and they're allowing too much. And then in this case, for the softball one, they were trying to put they were making themselves a part of the game versus controlling the game, like just managing the game. Yeah, being officials, right? You're supposed to just maintain the rules and everything that's going on. You can't. I mean, and I know in softball, baseball, they can control more, but it was a lot. It was ridiculous.
And I think that's another part too, man. The rules. Now I can't really speak on softball, but just in general in sports. What are the actual rules now? Because I mean, there's so many new ones that develop over a year.
Well, and that's the other thing too is like
I mean, something you did last year will be illegal this year.
yeah.
I mean,
The only people that really keep up with it, you would think the officials and referees and all them would, but like your coaches do, and they normally translate it to the players, because they kind of have to keep up with that. But appreciate it. I mean, most fans aren't going to keep up with it unless they're like a huge fanatic or like they're like really involved with either the program or whatever's going on. But that's why, like, I mean, you have calls that have like been like in football for years, and you'll have officials mess up the call. And I know it's different at each level, like penalties in high school to college to NFL, they're all slightly different, especially like pass interference is a big one. NFL, it's spot of the foul. If it's less than 15 yards, then it is 15. But it just, you got to keep up with your rules. If you don't know the rules, then you can't officiate. And if something happens that's like an odd situation, then you got to know how to control it. Like that,
yeah,
I'll talk about one in particular when we get to the college games.
I mean, I think we're making good pace.
Okay.
We can dabble a little bit.
Okay.
With some college.
All right, let's go into the college games.
I do know one pretty big upset, I think.
There's one upset that happened, and that was it that I remember.
I don't know if it's the same one you're talking about. It was an upset to me.
Yeah. Well, hold on, we'll get there in a second. So, like, over at college football games, this is currently in time for us. Like, we'll just do just the ranked teams, and if they're not ranked, let me know, and I'll pull it up. But, like, Oregon smacking Cal. Now, at first, this was a close game that I could see. Kansas, Iowa State just started. Well, I guess 10 minutes have gone by. Purdue, Michigan has just started. This is just that analyst got fired. That'll be a topic we'll talk about later. I know that's huge right now.
Yeah.
People don't know how to be an actual analyst sometimes. It's sad. Let's just do a quick pick on this one real quick. Washington, USC.
I'm going to go Washington.
Yeah, me too. USC's they don't care enough about defense. I'm sorry. And even though the Washington Oregon game was high scoring, but that was like two of the top 10 quarterbacks in college. That was a very good game. Yeah, Washington's defense just makes the right stops when they need it. We'll talk about this game last because I'm worried.
What's your thoughts on that one, Cole? We might as well not skip it.
No, we'll skip it just because I can't right now. I have to focus on the other stuff. It's kicking off soon. That's another reason why we're going to have our time. Oregon State, Colorado.
Oregon State.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Oregon State as well. Now,
Colorado
could win this game.
It's gonna be a game.
Like if you want to, because it'd be labeled as an upset alert, then I'm gonna put it like a 8. Like if DJ doesn't play good for Oregon State, then yeah, for sure. UCLA, Arizona, these are all the Pac-12 because they're so late.
I'm gonna go UCLA.
I'm gonna go Arizona. They've been on an uptrend recently. This game was close until.
Insurance is easy as loving Parmesan.
Hey yo.
A little malfunction.
Yeah, well, I don't know why it automatically played. That's the only thing about ESPN I can't stand.
Them ads.
Yeah.
They're coming up to the upset I was talking about too, by the way.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
It
right.
happens every year, except last year.
It's tough. Well, yeah, when they were actually decently good. Well, last year they weren't decently good, but I had a feeling they're the best 4-loss team in college football. You can't say.
I guess we're the best 3-loss team now. But
Yeah, you weren't the best 2-loss team anyways. It was LSU. It's okay. Texas, Kansas State. I listened to play-by-play of this in the second half, and then I didn't get to hear the OT stuff about how apparently that Kansas State went for it on 4th instead of kicking a field goal. I don't know. I didn't look at play. I mean, might as well just look real quick. We got a little bit of time. I think ESPN has it like labeled wrong because I looked at it and I was so confused. So we get down here, like this is example right here. Texas gets field goal. This is 27-7. Kansas State touchdown. 3 plays later, Texas fumbles. 2 plays, Kansas State touchdown. It has now turned into 21-27. Guess what? After 3 plays, they look at it. Touchdown, fumble, touchdown, fumble, touchdown. And this was in 1 play. So in literally 5 plays, you fumble twice. And in 11 plays, they score 21 points on you. Actually, sorry, 20 points because this was wild. It says 2-point conversion failed. There was a offsides on Texas. and they accept it, but they don't go for 2. They kick the PAT anyways, and the holder is not looking at the long snapper, and the long snapper must have seen his hand move or something, like when they do the signal.
Yeah.
And he smacked the holder in the face. Kicker grabs it, gets hit, gets injured. That's why. Okay, that makes more sense. All right.
So it
The kicker gets injured. He gets tackled, right? So it's labeled as a 2-point conversion, but it should be, just failed PAT. Because it's not like they tried to run a fake.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's tied instead of Kansas State having a 1-point lead. Texas gets field goal. So, mind you, it should be a 2-point game, not 3. They missed the field goal. Missed field goal. You know why? I don't think Chris Tennant was. Let me check right here. Oh, so he does come back in, but he got hit and got hurt. That matters because look at the field goal, 27 yards. He missed a 27-yarder for them to be tied again, even though it's hard to be. That'd be a 1-point lead. It should be 31-30, right? Mm-hmm. They punt, then they do get a field goal. 45, so he makes a longer one. So you think he's back, he's good. End of quarter. This is as time expires. They get a field goal. Turnover on down. So look at this. 1st and 10. 2. Incomplete. 3rd and goal. See, that's what I don't understand. How do you 3rd and goal from the 4? Incomplete. You don't have a time down. So where's the 4th down? That's what this has confused me. I don't know exactly how the game actually ended. Because it says they failed to get it on 4th down, and I was like, they not want to kick it. I know he had missed earlier. Because it's 3rd and goal from the 4. So they had 4. It'd be different if they had like 1 yard.
But they still would have had a 4th and goal attempt. They don't even have that labeled.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, okay, incomplete, 4th and goal, or they kick a field goal going to second overtime. So this is confused me like completely.
I feel like that game was a lot closer than it. I feel like it should have been, but Texas A&M is a very underrated team. They always have the talent.
You said it's not as close as it looked. It's a 3-point game.
No, I said it's a lot closer than what I would have thought. But then I said, Texas A&M is a very underrated team.
That's the thing. Their win category is not matching up with their recruiting. But they almost came back at 14 points in the 4th quarter.
We can so UConn and Tennessee.
Oh, okay. We'll just save it for last too.
That was anticipated.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Tennessee won as they should. Yeah. Utah smacked Arizona State as they should, especially because they're mad after
so
last week.
Think about this. This is another upset.
I know. Well, one more undefeated has now gone down. Yeah. Props to Army, man. There's always a big rivalry between Army, Navy, Air Force. Love it. Air Force is still going to get in a good bowl game. I know Tulane was ranked over them anyways. Tulane still probably is the best Group of 5 team. But props to Army. If they win out, they get a bowl game. That's the other thing, too.
That is true.
All right, this game ended not too long ago. I actually saw this happen in the game. It doesn't even look out of control, but it was just a bad pass from, I think Brady Cook's his name, the quarterback. Defensive tackle, Nazir Stackhouse. And that has, it's not solidified. Georgia's basically got it. Because if they lose, the only way they not get in the SEC championship is they lose to Ole Miss and then lose to Tennessee. Because then they would have a tiebreaker with Tennessee, and Tennessee would have it. But still, this is enough to prove. Because they had Missouri ranked at 12, and then the early struggles of Ohio State and Rutgers, they're probably gonna put Georgia back at 1. Maybe not, just because they struggled. But it was literally a top 12 team. Let's see.
You want to go through all the scores?
Yeah, just the ranked ones. Georgia Southern's getting walloped by Texas State. I'm shocked. Granted, it's TJ Finley, which I feel like he's been to like 5 schools already. He used to be at LSU, then Auburn. I feel like he was at Georgia State. Now he's at Texas State. So I don't know how he's been to that many schools. But I know COVID let people have 6-7 years eligibility. That's why Stetson Bennett played for. Yeah, there you go.
Speaking of Bennett, you seen all the stuff that they're talking about with him?
We'll talk about that another time. Last thing on the Missouri Georgia game. This was back and forth. There was a weird. That's what I'm talking about officiating. There was a weird call about offensive pass interference called on Georgia. They were trying to throw a screen, and they're blocking downfield. Well, apparently the rule is that would count if the ball was actually thrown behind the line of scrimmage versus past it, and he threw it half a yard past the line of scrimmage, so they waved the flag off. Now Georgia got held to a field goal, but that would have backed him up 15 yards. It wasn't intentional grounding, but it just
Well, that goes to the rules that we were talking about earlier.
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it played a part. I don't think it made a difference in the total. I mean, because Missouri had a chance, and then they threw the pick, and then Georgia ended up getting another field goal. Now that made it 9 points, and then they just held on.
Yeah.
Florida State Pitt actually knew Pitt was going to make this closer than usual. I mean, not just because of what they did to Louisville, but
I mean, Florida State is an undefeated team though that hasn't been running up a lot. I mean, they start off slow.
I don't think they started off slow. This game they started off slow, but also, I mean, what team have they played that's really good? I mean, you got Duke, LSU, and they caught LSU early. That's the other thing too. If they rematched right now, I don't know if Florida State wins. I'll be honest. There's the other upset. So back-to-back weeks. I didn't get to see the final. I knew there was a minute 30 left. Oklahoma upset by Oklahoma State. So that's back-to-back losses. So Texas is in the driver's seat, especially, I mean, even though they were struggling against Kansas State and they ended up pulling out the win. And like Quinn Ewers is still out. I don't know when he'll be back. They're definitely a lot better with him, clearly, because if Bama plays against them without Quinn Ewers, they win, because that's what happened last. I mean, that's the other thing too. Quinn Ewers has got hurt back-to-back years because he got hurt in the Texas game and Bama game last year. Penn State, Maryland. I just hate it for Tua's brother.
They ain't having a bad season though this year.
No. He's going to end up going to an NFL team, like 4th-round pick. Louisville, Virginia Tech.
We love our house. The outdoor space is great.
Here we go again.
do have
And then this one. This was pretty crazy. East Carolina, 1-8, or 1-7 at the time. Goes up 10-0 on Tulane. And then Tulane goes 10 points, and then they kick a field goal and win. Now, they're still going to be the top-ranked Group of 5 team, but, well, I don't know. Is James Madison still undefeated? Because they can be ranked, but it doesn't matter. They'll get a bowl game this year, but they can't win the conference. That's why I was hoping they would win their game. This is my alumni. But Alabama LSU is just now starting. But they played Texas State Bobcats. Now, even with a loss in conference makes them 3-2. So they just need to beat their last 3 games, and they still win their side of the conference, and they'll play Troy. But that's the college football stuff. So let's go into our last segment. Like I said, we try to cut it up very short. I think episode 1 was an hour and a half after getting through edits and cuts. Still in the progress of getting things on Apple Podcast and Spotify, but we're going to get that in. And even if it takes a little while, I'd love to just go 1, 2, 3 and immediately have them there, because I was also told good advice that starting a podcast, it's better to have like multiple episodes and then feed it to them, even if it's old content by like a few weeks. Because then they'll see the date that it was, not posted, but when it happened. So I think you got some trivia for me. I do have some trivia for you, but they're going to be quick ones. So what you got for me?
All right, so I got you with some college trivia.
Oh,
since
interesting.
He is the
Okay.
college guy. This one should be relatively simple.
I need some water.
I would think.
I hope. Let's see.
So what I'm going to give you is name me the past 8 Heisman Trophy winners. So that's going back to 2015.
Okay.
To, last year.
All right, I'm gonna try to go backwards.
Okay.
Last year was Caleb Williams.
Yes.
The year before that was Bryce Young.
If you want to get a little extra spice, you can name the team as well.
Okay, Caleb Williams was with USC.
Just add a little spice.
Yeah, with USC, Caleb Williams. Bryce Young with Alabama.
Okay.
That's 2022, 2021. 2020, was it Devontae Smith was the next one?
Yes.
So it was back-to-back Bama players?
There's a couple band players on there.
Should only be those 2. Oh, maybe Derek got on there, but let me get there in a second. I'm trying to go in order best I can.
Yeah, so you're at
2019 is Joe Burrow.
Okay.
Trying to think of 2018. 2018, is that Baker?
No.
What year is Baker? He's on there.
Baker is on there. He's at 2017.
27, so I'm missing 2018. Kyler Murray.
Kyle Murray is 2018.
Okay, all right. So trying to do schools. Both of them are Oklahoma quarterbacks. Joe Burrow was at LSU was quarterback. The only non-quarterback was DeVonta Smith so far that I've said.
So you got two more.
Which is 2016 and 2015.
That is correct.
All right, 2015 is Derrick Henry.
Yes.
So running back, Alabama. And then 2016, I got to think. Sean Watson?
No.
Wasn't Trevor Lawrence didn't win a Heisman either.
If you do need some hints, let me know.
No, I'm just trying to think. See, Derrick Henry, that was the year Bama won. And then the next year, they rematched Clemson and lost. But that he wasn't the Heisman. There wasn't the Clemson player wasn't the Heisman Trophy winner. It was it wasn't Jalen Hurts. He was in the Heisman running. No, that's too early. That's too early.
It is quarterback.
I figured. Did they make the playoffs that year? I'm trying to think.
I don't know if they did.
I'm trying to think. 2016 after Derrick Henry. So you got like Deshaun Watson's. Who's the other? Oh, Lamar Jackson.
That is correct. It's Lamar Jackson.
I was like, oh yeah, I know it's ACC. Yeah, Louisville. That was probably really loud in the mic because I got a little excited because I figured it out. All right. I'm gonna give you one, and I think you'll actually get this kind of fast.
No, this wants to be mine. Trivia night.
No, I double trivia it up because we shortened it because we got the time.
That's it.
All right.
Sorry.
Georgia Southern's still losing by 21. Sad face. How far back did you go? 2015. Perfect. Since 2015, the Bears have had
Oh God.
6 first-round picks. I'm gonna let you decide. You can either do the easy or you can do the hard one right now without knowing what it is. The easy trivia, and I will do the opposite next time.
I'm gonna do the easy one right now.
All right. So since 2015, the Bears have had has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 first-round picks. Okay.
Yeah.
3 years you did not have a first-round pick. What were those 3 years?
Shit. We had one last year. We gave up like 6 years to get fucking Fields. 2020.
Yep. There's one.
We didn't have a first round. Test my memory here, man.
Mm-hmm.
20. I don't believe we had one 2019.
2019 and 2020, you didn't have one. Okay.
This third year is the one I'm kind of tricky on. Those I was like 85% confident in.
Okay. Yeah, that was back-to-back years you didn't have a first round.
I'm gonna go with drafted Fields.
Yeah, you drafted Justin Fields in 2021. You said you gave up picks for it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we did we give up any first rounds when we moved up for Trubisky? When we drafted Trubisky from North Carolina, what did we give up for him? We drafted, let's say 2017.
You're saying that's when you didn't have a pick? 2017 is when you drafted Mitchell Trubisky.
That is true. So it was in 2018. No, it's not 2018. It is 2018.
2018, you drafted Roquan Smith.
Oh, it was a first round. When did we draft that dude from Virginia Tech? White. That dude played like 5 plays in the NFL.
You talking about West Virginia?
Yeah, he was supposed to replace Brandon Marshall. I forgot his last name. I mean, I know his last name's White.
Talking about Kevin White.
Kevin White. Yeah. Sorry. Let's go with 20. 2015.
2015, you drafted Kevin White. So you're
So
picking
16.
you're picking the years that you pick the people you keep
Yeah.
bringing up. 2016, you drafted Leonard Floyd.
When was the last time we did have
You're literally missing the 1 year you haven't said.
14? I did say 14.
I didn't say past. I said since 2015.
Oh yeah, 2015. So I said 15. That's when we drafted. You said White, right?
Yep.
16 is when we drafted Floyd.
Yep.
I said 17. That's when we drafted Whiskey.
Yep.
I said 18. Oh, we didn't have one fucking the year before last.
What year is that?
21. No, that's when we drafted Fields. We had one last year because we drafted Darnell White.
Yeah, but what year was Darnell Wright?
He was the 2023 draft. 2022.
It's
That's
2022.
That's the one we gave up.
So
for Fields.
2019, 2020, and 2022 were the three
I
times
got my
you guys
years
didn't
mixed.
have.
I was thinking Darnell was.
I would say, but you had your picks down. You knew the first round picks. You just trying to. Good job. Took a little longer than I thought it would, but
Yeah,
it's
you
okay.
know.
Yeah.
It happens.
All right, so that was episode 2, guys, of Let's Talk Sports. I know it was a quick one, but I think that was a lot smoother.
I do got one more question.
All right, what's up? Oh,
So
I-
Alabama or LSU?
I was,
never
try-
came back
I
to
was
it.
I was trying to just slide
But
past.
I'll let you sleep on that. You know, we'll see.
Um,
Game started.
I'm
now.
I'm worried. Let's make predictions.
I knew it was gonna catch.
All right,
you.
let's do this. Let's make predictions.
I think y'all gonna come on top.
All right, we're a 3-point favorite, and that's just because it's at home. Because that means neutral field. It's even. I don't want them to score more than 40 points. If they do, they win. I think we can win if we hold them to less than 35.
It's gonna be a very good game.
I think the score is going to be 30-32, Bama.
You know, I was actually thinking around the same. I don't think it's gonna be like this high scoring game like a lot of people anticipate.
Well, I mean, our defense is decent enough that we're not going to
I was
let
actually
them
gonna go
score
lower
over
than
40,
what you
50.
did.
Okay, I said 30-32, Bama.
Mhm.
What you got?
I was gonna go 35-28. I think it's gonna be an even touchdown game, no field goals.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
It's college football.
yeah, you're right. Yeah,
happens.
it's not like NFL. NFL, you're like, yeah, guaranteed like 5 field goals, which we
Exactly.
did predict that in the Pittsburgh and Tennessee game. We did say a lot of field goals, and there were 5.
Yeah.
But that's episode 2 of Let's Talk Sports. God, I thought he let it come back. I was trying to get it to slide, so I didn't have to talk about it, but it's okay.
It was quick.
So, I'm gonna go watch the Bama LSU game, and Joe's gonna prepare
on.
himself to
Wednesday night,
for his well, yeah, that. But then your Chicago game tomorrow,
1 o'clock. Y'all tune in.
Yep, support his Bears, and then support his doubles partners Chargers on Monday Night Football, and we'll catch you guys later. Peace.